Hey, Guy Powell here with the backstory on the Shroud of Turin. Today we're doing one in a series of interviews promoting the upcoming Shroud of Turin conference that's taking place in St. Louis at the end of July. It's going from July 31st to August 3rd. Today I'm speaking with Janis Winchester, and she is a longtime researcher and speaker and friend, and she's been doing so much on the Shroud, and she will also be speaking at the conference. So let's dive right in. Welcome, Janice. So good to have you today.
Oh, thank you, Guy, and thank you for all you're doing for the committee for this upcoming Shroud 2025 conference. You've done a tremendous amount of work. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. Well, and I've loved every minute of it, and you too, and because you're also on the committee, and then of course Cindy Schultmeyer, who's running things. She has just been a phenomenal leader. But anyway, so let's talk about the Shroud of Turin. So, what drew you in to the Shroud of Turin? How did you get interested in it?
Well, I've known about it for many years, and then I went to the St. Louis conference that they had, and I met a lady, Pam Moon, who's from England, and she'll be at the conference. And she was encouraging to say, well, study about the shroud. And I thought, well, I can see what I can find out. And then I looked at it as, well, what are the books of the field? What is the research? What are the articles? What are the conferences? And I had the opportunity to travel around America and Europe and part of Asia to meet with Shroud researchers and see what they were doing and how they actually went about looking at the Shroud. And I also thank Barry Schwortz, who this conference is dedicated to. He helped me a lot, and I was in Turin when they had the original on display, and Barry was there at the same time. So I thank him very much and appreciate all that he gave and all that he's done. So this conference is also to thank him for his work. And about my research, I looked into the facts and I looked at it in several ways. I looked at the evidence and I wanted to know if the evidence spoke for itself. Like, what were the direct and indirect statements that people said in science, history, and the scriptural biblical writings? What did Jesus say? And then to uncover the physical evidence, I looked at an amazing way of looking at the image, and that is because I met Kevin Moran, who had a VP8 image analyzer. And because of his work, prior work, and how he helped me learn to research using the VP8, I just became like, yeah, this is it. Because when I looked at the lance wound, the sword, the spear that went into Jesus's heart when he was on the cross, you could see the blood because it was white. It jumped out at you because there was a lot of blood. And I thought, wow, this is really unique. And it truly is. It's an identifying characteristic and it's very unique. And so after looking at the seen and unseen evidence, then I concluded the most important part, and many people had already concluded that, but I found it on my own. And that's why I'm excited to help other people decide for themselves if the Shroud of Turin is authentic and if the man of the shroud is actually a mirror replication of the biblical writings of Jesus crucified. So that's a short way of how I got involved.
Yeah, wow, that's fantastic. So, what are you going to be talking about at the conference, the Shroud 2025 conference? Is there some little insights and teasers that you can give us?
Well, I'll be presenting the evidence and asking people what they think. And do they see that, as many authors have already written, that the face of the man of the shroud has such a beautiful look of peace and calm and joy, which many people say, and which I saw, and which I then wove into the love of God for each person, and how Jesus then saying in the Bible that, oh, take this horrible, terrible task from me, dear Father, dear Lord, or I will accept it because it's your will. It's what you want done. So that's part of how this all works out in the end. And it's an opening maybe for some people. I've come across many people that don't know about Jesus. And so this would be an introduction to the man of the shroud. Is it Jesus on the shroud? And does it reflect the mirror image that's written in the Bible? And of the interesting healings and forgiveness of sin that happened during the span of Jesus's teaching, does that also work toward identifying this Shroud of Turin?
Yeah, yeah, that is awesome, and I so much agree with you that the shroud is definitely a reflection of the Gospels, and actually that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your presentation and then and learning quite a bit from that. So, one problem that I've had, and I'm sure you've had as well, is how do you respond to people that say, my faith is strong enough. I don't need a relic to prove my faith or increase my faith or anything like that. I already have a strong faith. What do you say? What do you say about to people like that?
I think it's wonderful. It's true, we don't need a lot of items to talk from our heart to God. But if you do want to look at the shroud, what do you see? Do you see something that no one now can replicate the image, and knowing that the blood is underneath the image that was put on? Do you think that's the power of the radiant light of God at resurrection? What do you think? And if you don't need something like this, then maybe you can teach me more.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. That makes so much sense. And you're right. As well, if your faith is strong, then teach me, because I could always use some strengthening every day. And so that's really great. I like that. So, how has the shroud affected your faith?
Well, and it's only in the last couple weeks, as I keep redoing this PowerPoint for the conference, that I ended up seeing more of the love of God for each person, and why he would ask his son to come and be the way that all of us could get salvation. And why should we even worry about salvation? Live for today, let it go. But salvation is eternal, so we need to definitely take a look at it and see if it's something we'd like to do. And growing out of that love is also joy and peace. And I'm really excited because I've always wanted to work toward peace and never knew how. So now I see that the Shroud of Turin can be a welcoming for peace for everyone.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. And I see it that way as well. And I also am more willing to talk about my faith now that I've gotten involved and know about the shroud, and it really has definitely strengthened my faith. So yeah, well, thank you so much, Janice. That has been wonderful. It's a great perspective that you've got, and definitely looking forward to hearing your talk and learning more about how you've come to research the shroud and put that into perspective for all of us. So for the audience, though, if you found this discussion intriguing, there's so much more to explore at the Shroud of Turin. 2025 conference and symposium that's taking place in St. Louis from July 31st to August 3rd. If you're interested, just to find out about the speakers, visit shroud2025conference.com. But more importantly, please come, sign up, learn more, and get to really understand about what the Shroud can do for you, and how you can learn more about it to be able to just add it to your faith and your faith roster of things that are important to you. Please register to attend. Visit shroud2025conference.com. Hope to see you there. Janice, thank you so much.
Thank you, Guy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Blessings. Bye.